Hello, this is Monday Night Get Nuked. I am thirsty. This is episode 28 that will take us on the hopefully the penultimate, if not final chapter of our very, very, very long quest to get these people to go under this particular hill and open a damn door. So, yes, before we go any further, those of you in chat land should abide by certain rules. And those rules are...
Don't be a tool about someone's race. Don't be a tool about someone's gender. Generally, just don't be a tool.
Or a screwdriver.
Oh, I'm so proud.
It's only taken a year.
It's only taken a year, but I still drew a blank. So, yes, those are the rules for chat. And all of you should obey them, or I'll probably remember I have moderator privileges. So yes, we shall once again tonight be playing Nuked, which is a setting of the Spiced system, which I wrote with Volley and help from Grim and Spanners and many other people who I sort of talked to at times and went, I can't work out how to do a thing. Yeah. It uses this dice, which you can't probably see very well. It uses other dice too. And hopefully, as I said earlier, we shall cruise away on to some minor plot resolution. Or possibly just some bloody death. So, before we go any further, we should probably introduce ourselves. I've introduced myself, I think. So, if I haven't, let's do that again. Fuck it. I'm thirsty. I'm the puppet master. I'll be remembering all the rules that these guys can't remember or don't want to, and telling them what's happening in such a way that you could imagine them as blind little puppies, and me telling them what all the terrible things around them to destroy their minds. So, first we shall go directly down to Spanners.
Hello, I am Spanners, and I am playing Timi, who may or may not go on a killing spree. But let's be honest, probably will. I don't think she was reasonably well behaved last time. In as much as she only killed a few people. And in fact, the nice little old lady probably killed more than Timi did last time.
True.
40 soldiers down. We got the job done. We just kind of set them off and let them get on with it.
Yeah. I mean, you did that job that was... you occupied a space broadly between freeing prisoners and putting civilians in harm's way.
Yes.
Especially when that one machine blew up and killed someone.
Yeah.
But that wasn't necessarily your fault. This time.
No. And I don't think we tortured anyone to death last time. So,
Not last time. In Timi's sort of point of view, it's been at least 20, 30 minutes.
Exactly. So, she's due another good kicking.
Okay. Yeah. That's either giving or getting. Yeah.
Yeah. Frankly, after the last couple of episodes, probably, either.
Yeah. Right. So next, we shall move in what is a very obvious and simple order, and we shall go to Eivor.
Tonight I shall be playing Zeke, the Northern Wanderer, wasteland expert of wandering off.
Yes. That's definitely a wasteland wanderer.
And hopefully, with his clever disguise as Smith, the new guy, he will not receive too much out of a berating and or telling off from Kurt's replacement.
Yes. I've got to wonder if you're going to inflict severe losses on the command structure of this place again. But, who knows? You might just, you might receive some kind of minor administrative punishment and walk out with your dignity intact. So, there we are. We have 2 of our miscreants. So, last but by no means least.
Guessing that would be me. I'm Lilth. I will be playing Anita, who's going to either kill or cure someone with some drugs. She now has a couple more doses of morphia and some greyish powder, so we'll see what happens with that one. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. So, now we have established our players, we've established what we're playing, and also what day of the week it is. We should really revisit what's happening. So, as we left it last time, we had Anita and Timi standing next to a very, very large, very thick door that was propped open with lots of hoses and pipes, gazing through it onto the hip of a very large man. Just about seeing around this large brute of a being. To peek into a cavern and see little bits of, people being horribly abused by bluecoats and a room slowly filling with water. Lots of pumps sort of being desperately operated despite the fact that the main pumping stations are now all out of commission. Well done. In the meantime, Zeke had almost visited that room previously, but decided to instead lock some people in a showers. I think it was. Oh, no. Yeah, lock some people in his showers. I think you barricaded the door of a barracks. Went upstairs, popped into the canteen, snuck off to the admin office, and then got caught bullshitting. and dragged in front of, the fort's head of administration. A red-faced, overweight man with thinning hair and a very, very red skin. I think we described it as thoroughly sunburned, called Barry. So, my wonderful children, who should we join first? Should we dice off for it? That'd be more fun. Who wants to go with that?
I botched.
Did you
I got an
botch?
11.
Did I just win on a 1?
Wow. Okay. Wow. Fortune favours the ill-prepared and poorly performing. Excellent. So, here we are. We rejoined Timi and Anita in that dark, noisy corridor. Well, not as noisy as it was. Peeking through the door. Because I think you ignored the sally port and went straight for the door, I seem to recall. Climbed up and looked around.
I thought we'd open the sun. No, we did climb up. You're right.
Yeah.
It was already open, so
Yeah.
we could peer through.
Yeah, you didn't want to give yourselves away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if that's wrong, you heard it here, folks. They've agreed.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Well, you now know that there's a sally port and you can go back to it if you want to. Yeah. Retroactive continuity. Huzzah! So yes, you're peeking through. You've looked over the hip of this guy who's standing on the pile of hoses inside. I believe you heard him grumbling about having to do a patrol on a raised catwalk. Didn't go anywhere. And you saw a room, a large square room, broadly square, room where the ceiling on the opposite side of the room has fallen in to some extent. Below you can see there is a pit. This is filling with water, and there's lots of salties and ooze towners desperately like bailing it out, pumping it out, digging, moving stones. And lots of blue coats flogging them, standing over them with rifles, shouting abuse, handing out half cabbages. Okay, to the shifts who are coming off. Because we established that it was half a cabbage per prisoner. Half a cabbage per day. So there we are. Because for some reason we decided to go to the admin office and we found out what the ration situation was. So there we are. So yes, there you are. Looking at at the. It's the left door that's normal, so the right door would be slightly open, so you'd be peeking down. So you'd be looking at you're looking at sort of the right shoulder, hip, and buttock of a very large man. And around it you can see this. And of course you can look over him at the ceiling. So that's what you've seen. What are you doing?
How close is this guy to the gap?
I hate to be that kind of guy, but you aren't looking.
No. That's fine.
Until Timi chooses to tell you.
I know nothing. That's fine.
Okay.
Or I suppose you might even be like holding Timi as she like climbs up this thing to peek around.
Yeah, fair enough.
Possibly holding a wrist to pull her back if something goes wrong.
I think Timi would be telling Anita that they're in a lowest voice as she is able to use. Sort of, I think she can tell how loud she's being, but not always like how loud she's being.
Oh yeah. I mean,
she would be attempting to be quiet.
Yeah, there's effort at modulation.
Yeah.
It's a question of how effective it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she would attempt to be sort of relaying this information down to Anita. At least that there are blue coats, but she can't see because there's a massive arse in the way.
Okay. What we shall do is you give me a charisma to try and relate this information.
Charisma.
Yeah, just a raw charisma. You're just trying to get your point across, quietly and firmly.
13.
I will roll a perception for the guy on the other side of the door. Oh no. Yeah, he got a 4. He's just standing there grumbling. So yeah. Yes, Anita, you have been told. Right. Yeah. Well, what exactly have you been relating?
She is going to identify how many blue coats she can see, and that this guy is. So he is really quite close to the door, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he within reaching distance? If she could get an arm through.
Probably just about, yeah. You could probably get a hand to him, sort of thing.
Okay.
He's basically standing, leaning against the door that isn't open.
Okay.
So.
Does Anita know what a stim would do to a non-unconscious person?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah,
what
so,
would that be? If you can just jog my memory.
When administered to someone who isn't currently unconscious or in danger of becoming unconscious, a stim would basically just cause a quite painful cardiac event.
Do it.
Anita's going to pass.
The person would feel great for a while.
Anita's going to pass Timi a syringe and just say, "You think you know what to do with that?"
Which body part is closest to Timi?
I think we established that you basically looked around directly onto a right buttock. So,
Excellent.
you know, if you
Well,
want...
that's where it's going then.
Okay, yeah. Yep, you essentially stab... Most of these like stim syringes are closer to what you or I would think of as like an EpiPen syringe. So there's literally like a pen, you push it and the needle pops out. It's not like a stabby needle, like Victorian style. You know, they're made that way so that you can't inject them too deep or, you know, shoot the juice out the other side of whatever you're hitting. You know, if you try and get someone in the upper arm or something. You know, so you don't jam a needle into someone's bones and fuck them up. So yeah, you reach through and stab a large hairy man in the arse with a needle.
Excellent.
Okay.
And as she does it, she is going to drop back down because he's quite clearly going to notice being stabbed in the arse.
The problem is you're laying on a pile of hoses. So dropping down probably just sort of takes you to his knee height. You're on a pile of hoses that he's also standing on.
Ah.
So, yeah. I mean, you could do it. I'm just saying. But yeah, you reach forward, you punch this pen into the top or bottom of his ass? Inner or outer edge?
Top, near the pelvis.
Ooh, fuck. Okay. Yeah. So you stab him in the top of the arse, sort of almost in the small of the back. Sort of that horrible, like, you know, sort of, you know, nexus of nerves. And you hear the reassuring click of the needle deploying, and you pull it back, and you notice that the retaining ring of plastic has like cracked and fallen in, and you drop.
I think Anita would be ready to help Timi off of the pile of stuff she's on.
Okay.
So that when she drops, Anita would be there to help guide her off the pile.
Okay, yeah. Well, you give me a reflex then, and I'll do a reflex for big hairy man.
That's 6.
Big hairy man got a 10. So yeah, you lean forward, it goes click, and it goes, oh fucking hell, and big hairy chap slaps a hand onto his arse cheek, turns around, and is just in time to see Timmy's face vanish around the side of the door. Who's that? And you see, as you pull Timmy back, you see a large arm try and like reach around the door. Yeah. Maybe sort of the top sort of bit of a head that's a bit too wide to get through, sort of thing. Ah! What the bloody hell's going on over there? Oh, bitch, stab me! Ah! Yeah. So you're laying in a corridor. You've made a man angry.
Okay. How long will it take for the stim to take full effect?
You have no idea.
Awesome.
Do I?
This isn't something you've seen done. Anita would know that stim normally affects people pretty much instantaneously. For its stated purpose, people stir within a few moments. I mean, just sort of 20, 30 minutes ago, you watched someone bleed out in seconds after giving them a stim when they had a large bleeding wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is clearly, you can see the top of his head is like spreading red, like apoplexy. Like he's clearly not having a great time. This is a very angry person. You can see the coarse hair on the back of this arm is standing on end. You can see like veins bulging, sort of Hulk style. It's there's lots of sweat starting to come off. This person is clearly having a bad time. But yeah, there is shouting. He is. Some bitch stabbed me! Come back here! Get out here, you salty bastards! As far as you're aware, like the door isn't opening, and there's an arm flailing around and someone shouting. What are you doing?
No one appears to be coming to help him. So, and we were on a pile of hoses. So Timmy's going to go back towards him, just kind of keeping an eye out to see if people are actually going to come and help him. And if not, is going to pick up one of the hoses, move towards him. Can Timmy get sort of like behind wherever he is?
No, he's basically sandwiched between a pair of doors.
Sandwiched between a pair of doors.
You could essentially move around him and stand over him on the top of a pile of slackening hoses.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So she's going to pick up a hose. If he's on the floor, that's quite useful. And like take one of the hoses and just kind of wrap it around his neck. Just the once.
You can't really reach his neck. His neck's the other side of the door.
Out the door.
You've
You've
basically got sort of the top of his head and maybe one eye and a bit of his nose and a shoulder.
And there's no way of opening the door a bit more.
Not these doors.
Not these.
As I say, these are like blast doors. These are big.
So the bit that's hanging out of the door is like an arm and a bit of his head?
Yeah.
Anita, do you still have that knife?
Yes, I do. And I hand it to her.
Knowing what happened to our friend downstairs who had the gaping wound, and we want this guy to shut up, Timmy's just going to stab it just sort of kind of there, twist, and then take it back out again. Just like really quick motion to just create enough of a hole so you can bleed out quickly and shut the hell up.
You're going to try and reach between a flailing arm and a head.
Yep.
That's about at like knee height to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically
anything... that's gonna require an attack.
Okie dokie.
This is something that someone might not want you to be able to do. And, he can watch you doing it.
That is fine. This is an shush you.
Yep.
This is an armed.
Yes.
CC?
This is very much an armed CC attack.
Okie dokie. Right. That is 10. No,
Okay.
can't be. Hold on. Because I didn't add the thing to it. That was 17. Sorry, I rolled a 10.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Also, while you're there, give me a grapple. I assume a dexterity grapple.
Oh dear. That's a 6.
Okay. Yeah. He got a 14. So you have stabbed him, but he has grabbed you. In sort of kneeling down and casually trying to stab someone in the throat when they're looking at you and they have a big beefy arm flailing around. This guy's basically just grabbed you like by the front of your clothes. I've got her! Come here, you! And because he won the grapple, he's gonna make his free unarmed attack. For 7 damage as he headbutts you.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, but even as he headbutts you, you can feel like the heat coming off this guy's head. Like he does not feel at all healthy. You can see like bulging veins on his scalp. He's clearly having some severe cardiac distress. His eyes are bloodshot. His skin is red. reddening. His veins are all standing up like a marathon runner. Which I always thought was a really freaky look. But hey, who am I to knock people who are way fitter than me? But, if you can manage that, all for it. But I never did. I'm a doughy boy.
I'm going to tap Timi on the arm and just go, ask him what the hell's going on, what the pit is.
Don't think he's going to tell us.
You also just stabbed him in the throat.
Yeah. I'm
I'll
assuming...
do some damage. Roll
Sorry?
some damage for stabbing him in the throat.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Like, he grabbed you and headbutted you, but you did stab him in the throat.
I did. So your damage is D6. Do you have the total to it? I'm having a moment. Yeah. Oh god. 11.
Okay, cool. Jesus God. Okay. Yes. So yeah, you patted her on the arm, like asking what's going on. The angry, bloodshot eyes like swivel. Like Anita is basically behind the door to him. Like he can see a hand and hear a voice. You see like the eyes swivel that way, and he manages to sort of there's like blood coming out of his mouth, like frothy blood.
I think we failed another interrogation there, Anita.
We?
It's your knife.
Fair. Okay. Fine.
Oops.
Oh. Right, so yeah, you guys are here. You're grappled by a dying man who's full of stim, won't let him die or pass out, but will cause him enormous pain. He shouted an alarm. He said, some bitch stabbed him in the arse. He's now bleeding profusely, struggling. And yeah.
No.
So, Zeke, you're standing in an office full of shelves with hastily removed knickknacks. In front of a desk where a large man with thinning hair and a red face, but jowlier than myself, who you've seen is called Barry. The poor bastard who escorted you in has beat a hasty retreat. Yes. I'm sorry, viewers. I've just been informed that a cat has stolen Spanner's D12.
Retrieved it.
Retrieved. Excellent. Leroy will win no such victory today. But yes. So, we find Zeke standing in an admin office getting dressed down for uniform standards. I believe we left off last time with Barry saying something to the tune of, "We'll show you how we do things around here, me laddo." And this red-faced, overweight gentleman stands up and he picks up something that looks like a braided length of cord. But the tones are all wrong. They're sort of pale and not very uniform. They look quite kind of rough. And you're pretty sure you can see a tattoo on it. There's like a Celtic knot halfway down one of the strips. Yeah. Ooh. Oh god, Corone's remembering stream elements functions. Yeah. Right. So yes, you're standing here in a room. So lad, what do you got to say?
Zeke sort of thinks back to the way you've seen like other blue coats react to those higher up the chain, and sort of go, I'm sorry. The thing is, I'm very new, and I only signed up because I was mates with Kurt. He was a good friend. But wish I could have been there to see him go, just to give him some comfort, you know.
Oh, you're one of Kurt's boys down at Bungo, are you? Yeah. Well, fair enough. There, enough of you around. Yeah. Kurt did a lot of recruiting. Yes, we'll call it recruiting. So, yes, you won't be getting an easy time of it just because you were friends with my predecessor. No, we're on a tight ship up here. And losing your jacket. Ugh. Where's your issued weapon?
I left it with the name of the coat that I'm wearing, Steve, isn't it?
I don't remember. I think it was Bob.
Bob, yes, Bob. I left it down with Bob. He said it'd be quiet enough for me to come up with and just get the forms that he needed. He said to take his jacket because said it'd be dangerous for me to wander about that one on.
No, that's not bloody good enough. No. I'll tell you what. And he goes out. He stumps over the door. He's still carrying this it's quite clearly a whip. In fact, to Zeke's practiced eye, yeah, it's made of human skin. It's definitely made of human skin. At least some of the strands of this braided whip. He goes over to the door. He kicks it open again, and he leans out into the office. Someone fetch me Bob! Delinquent bastard! Take this one with you. Go and get Bob, and bring them both back here. Listen, and while you're at it, round up what's his name? The big one. The one with the you know the one. That's it. Yes. You have no idea what's on the other end of this conversation. Someone's probably just made a gesture of some kind. God. But yes, that one. What's his name? Much. That's it. Much. You get him. Bring him in. And this some weasel-faced functionary comes in. In his very clean, nicely fitted denim jacket. It's got a blue band on it, but you can plainly see where it's been dyed from another color. It's someone who's decided to sneak themselves for promotion because they've been assigned admin. You can kind of see where it's there's green showing through in places. But yeah, this little weasel comes along. He takes you by the arm. He's like, right then, we better be getting out of here. So downstairs to Bob, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Oh, good. You don't want to. He's not. You should see him before he has his tea in the morning. And he's yeah. Come on, let's go. And he's got you halfway to the door, while he's having this breathless half conversation with himself. But Barry is sort of standing there just thrashing around with the whip in the air, hitting the door frame. You better get back here and fucking discipline standards. Kurt, you bastard. He's lashing the name Kurt on the door. He's the guy clearly hated his predecessor. For all of this kind of crap. bringing his mates from the brothel in and putting them in the elite guard. Fuck's sake. But yeah. So you and this weasel-faced dude drags you back out into the courtyard. And you see the little group of people playing poker by the main gates. They all straighten up quick, the cards just get swept off the table. The dude smoking a cigarette just flicks it over the top of the gate. The guy polishing his gun doesn't move. They're still polishing the gun. Look, combat readiness, yeah. But you'd never know there was a game of poker there. And the same guy, as previous, goes to wave at you and then sees that you're no longer wearing a jacket. You don't seem to be the guy he thought you were, and you're clearly in trouble. Raises his hand like a quarter of the way up for a wave, and then it's oh. Yeah, we're reporting that in the watch log. So yes, you are marched back across the courtyard, and you, screw it. Yeah, they take you in through the doors down by the mess, where they're joined by another blue coat, with his little name tag. Yeah, it's been clearly this guy's embroidered it himself. Clearly, it's not a very good job. It just reads much. And he was sitting in the little canteen naffy bit. They're you. And this fella comes along, and this guy clearly has bike chains wrapped around his arms. After a few moments, it goes, they're actually looped into the sleeves of his jacket. And odd. So it's not wrapped around like a weapon, it's sort of an adornment of some kind. But yeah, they march you back down the stairs.
As we get down to the stairs where we know we're going to find Bob and where we're going to get onto that corridor, can I sort of take a look over the two of them and sort of see who is better armed out of the two?
Both of them are carrying their standard issue large heavy hitting stick. Much clearly has these big heavy bike chains sewn into his jacket and wrapped around his hands. Which gives you the impression that this guy might be something of a favourite when it comes to violence. He might get seconded for disciplinary issues. But the little weasel-faced functionary whose name you still haven't asked. He's clearly he's carrying a stick. He might have a gun, but he clearly isn't wearing it with you.
Okay. Yeah. As we head down that way, I'm going to try and fall into step a pace or so behind them.
Much is definitely bringing up the rear on this.
Okay.
You are being marched somewhere. You are a prisoner.
Okay.
Even if only in a very informal sense. But they're only literally just marching you down the first set of stairs. Down towards the green barracks. So you're still one level up from everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you get there, switch back. Right. You two, you have the head of a bleeding angry man, flailing, shouting, headbutting, well, gurgling now. There is clearly, an alarm has been raised of some kind. He did shout. You haven't been listening for what's been happening since, because you've had a big, shouty, angry man flailing at you. But yeah, what do you do now? You have a big, chunky man bleeding profusely, blocking this half-open door.
Do we have the option of just kind of using him a bit like a bridge and just kind of just walking over him?
You see, he hasn't opened the door any further, and it was pretty much sort of, you could reach an arm through, like you might be able to get a leg through, but the likelihood of squeezing your torso through there, I mean, you couldn't do it before, and you can't now that there's less room.
So we either need to find a way of opening this door, or finding another way in.
There's the Sally door.
There is a Sally door.
Yep. Yeah, or you could, I'm sure you two, between you, come up with some kind of inventive method of opening a door, closing a door. We could just, run away.
It's always an option.
It's an option.
Yeah, as you are sitting there, this chunky dude, he's his struggles sort of slow down. He's not passing out because the chemicals in his system won't let him, but he's not entirely with it either. Like his grapple lapses. He just loses grip strength. He's clearly bleeding quite badly from a stab wound to the throat.
Timmy, can you see if anyone's coming through the gap?
So if I can't put my body through, can I at least put my head through?
Oh yeah, you can still look through it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Timmy's going to have a look through. When she pops her head back, she is going to mention to Anita that she isn't feeling great.
Okay.
In as much as she has 1 hit point left.
Okay.
The most important hit point, as it were.
Anita's going to try and work out what the hell she can do to help with some compression bandages, some painkillers, and some morphia, and a bag of greyish powder.
As long as it's not stim, we're good.
I didn't mention stim. I've still got 2 syringes of stim.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Timmy is already on 2 doses of morphia.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She may have 1 hit point, but she doesn't care.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in Anita's considered medical opinion, more would almost certainly lay you out.
Yeah, she's aware of that.
Yeah, you're pretty surprised. You're pretty surprised she's standing at this point. With all those burns and all that morphine. So yeah, you're scratching your head a little bit on this one.
What's the grey powder?
That's a good question.
What does it smell like?
Hmm?
What does the grey powder smell like?
I believe it was a small bag of grey powder, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Okay. I don't know if we described the character of this grey bag, so I'm going to say, for the sake of argument, that it is a small, almost quite well-rounded little pouch, made of sort of a textured greyish leather. There's it's ridged, and there's a very definite seam, and it's sort of got a drawstring around the top. As you open it, the smell that comes out is quite musty. Let's see.
Giving Anita's length of time on this planet and her knowledge.
Well, let's say you open the bag and there's a musty smell. That doesn't tell you much. Lots of things in this world are musty, and many powders are greyish. You could try and take a tiny bit.
I was just thinking that. She's just gonna lick her
you're
finger.
a rotter.
She's gonna lick her finger, dip it in, and just slightly
Yeah.
taste it.
Yep. Yeah. You dip your finger in. You lightly taste it. For a few moments, you just taste like you basically just sort of taste ashes. It tastes fucking horrible. It's dusty. It's gritty. It's powdery in all the wrong ways. It's almost like you've just sort of opened up a cupboard and found like an old bowl of cereal covered in mold or something. And then after those few seconds, you start to worry. Somewhere unbidden in your mind, you start to worry that you've been poisoned. You start to think that maybe the Bluecoats were carrying this as some kind of insidious trap. Maybe all the drugs you've picked up so far have been traps. Maybe that's why those people died back in town. How can you trust anything you pick up from your enemies? I mean, your enemies don't like you. Maybe your friends who shared these drugs with you, maybe they don't like you either. And then after a few moments of just sort of horrible paranoia, it just sort of fades back, and
It's
you know
voodoo.
what? Yeah, you're pretty sure it's voodoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already have 9 doses of that. Squirreled away somewhere in my pack.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not going to be helpful.
This stuff is clearly very pure.
Yeah.
A tiny fingertip of it affected a rotter.
Yeah. She's going to put that back in her pack and go, yeah, we might give that to someone else, but we're not going to use that one.
Yeah. The thing that does occur to you after you realise what it is, though, is that you don't feel the normal accompanying rush of mental energy. You don't feel like you're thinking any better, like your mental processes has been affected at all. Whereas you know that normally voodoo makes you, it speeds up your thinking. It stimulates your brain. This stuff just made you feel horrible.
Okay. She's going to say to Timmy, definitely not giving you this one. This isn't going to help you, but it might come in handy for torture, maybe?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. I'm going to keep hold of it, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So you've determined that. You've told Anita that you're not feeling very great. You've looked around the corner. Give me another perception now that there's not a big, chunky, hairy, angry dickhead in the way.
Cool. There might still be a bit of a hairy dickhead in the way because that is 7 in total.
God damn. Okay, yeah. You're being dead sneaky. You drop flat on your belly and just peek over the top of Chunky Boy. so you can't really see down very well. But you can see there are like 4 or 5 dudes up on the catwalk. Like most of them are just sort of standing there with guns of some description. Like some of them have pistols, some of them have like larger 2-handed objects that you assume are projectile weapons. None of them seem very uniform in construction. They're just sort of pointing them at people down in the crowd of sort of labourers below. Yeah, occasionally they chuck something down. One of them at the far end is just dispensing half cabbages. Because clearly that's the best way to dispense rations, is you throw them from high up. But yeah, you can see there are, 4 armed dudes and 1 throwing cabbage standing up on this catwalk. You can see the catwalk, because you're looking in one direction, you can't see the other. So you can see to the right of this door, not to the left. You can see on the far right, in that corner of the room, you can see there's another door like this, and there is a similarly large fella standing in front of it, holding a rifle. He's one of the 4.
So Timmy is going to kind of go back through the door, and tell Anita, I don't think we really want to just barrel straight in. I know that we're good at that, but there's quite a few of them in there. We might want to find a slightly different way around.
That's fine by me. The less fighting we have to do, the better. So, which way?
What options do we have now? So we've got the door in front of us.
Yep. You have the door in front of you. You have the corridor behind you. You know that there are stairs. At the end of the corridor behind you, there were stairs going up.
Okay. So probably going back to the stairs would be a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you traipse on back down the stairs. You occasionally find evidence of severely like beaten people. And blue coats that have been dragged off by the mob and beaten in the tunnels. In that way that lynching people do, horrible crowds of riotous bastards do. They find a victim and they drag them away and beat them thoroughly. You find sort of people-shaped pieces of meat wrapped in blue denim.
As we walk past those, Anita's going to look at Timmy and just go, so all sorted, so as bloodthirsty as you then?
When provoked. It's violence when necessary. And considering they don't really do much other than trading and fighting, then 50% of the time it's necessary.
Yeah. I can see that.
Excellent. So yeah, you come to the end of that, and you've got stairs going up to the left. Yeah, so you just wander off up those. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wander off up those, and you come to there's a turn off to the left. You can see there are 2 doors to the right. And then there's sort of a T-junction at the end. And as you it's great. As you wander up into the hallway, you see this like weedy little Weasley faced looking dude. He's sort of carrying a really pathetic looking little hitting stick. He's sort of just cradling. He's almost carrying like a swagger stick under one arm. And he rounds the corner and sees you. And instantly his face just sort of goes white. And he screams like, "Prisoners have escaped!" And he dives back. Congratulations, Zeke, you are back into the narrative. Zeke, you are brought round the corner, the weasel little dude in front of you turns white, dives back behind you and screams that the prisoners have escaped.
I'll turn to look at the guy we know to be much, and sort of go, what do we do?
Much doesn't appear to speak. But one of his big chain-wrapped hands just sort of grabs you almost by the face as you turn around and talk to him. Just pulls you back into the up the stairs, and he sort of gets you sort of almost in like a companionable headlock. The sort where they just sort of a person who's greatly taller than you just places an arm over your shoulder and like under your armpit so you can't move. And he shakes one of his arms out, and the chain sort of releases, and he grabs hold of it. And there's sort of 4 or 5 feet of chain dangling from his hand at this point. And he just sort of he moves to a point where he's almost peeking around. He's clearly waiting for someone to reveal themselves. The little weasel dude, he just runs up the stairs. Very much of a sort of "there's a troll in the dungeons" sort of way.
Can I attempt to wriggle free out of Much's grasp?
Yeah, of course. You'd be able to post grapple, yeah.
Grapple.
Right. All of you are in this scene together. You can all act. This isn't a skip back and forth anymore. You are all here.
Can we see them around the corner?
No. But you've seen them go round the corner.
Okay.
That for me is a grand total of a 6.
Much crit. So yeah, you wriggle. He clamps down. Oh god damn! He does 8 points of damage to your chest.
That could be worse.
Yeah.
That could very much be worse. Because that 8 turns into a 5.
He actually picks you up and, delivers a solid one-armed bear hug. You sort of feel your ribs creak.
Yeah, you hear a yelp and a cry of help. He's gone crazy.
Anita, you hear a yelp, and he's gone crazy. It's a voice that sounds very familiar.
She looks at Timi and goes, "I think Zeke might be around the corner and in trouble." And then she pulls out Maria and looks around the corner and tries to shoot the guy in the head.
Okay, right. I think this is going to be an opposed reflex. There's a dude waiting around the corner to hit the first person who comes round. It's going to be one of those moments you get in CS:GO and things, isn't it? Where 2 people are like on the corner, like just on the opposite sides of the same corner, like, just waiting for someone to break cover. Anyway, yeah.
14.
Oh yeah. He got a 10. So yeah, you step around the corner. You raise your pistol. You lock eyes with Much, who's a very tall individual who appears to have his arms wrapped with chains. He's carrying Zeke. Carrying like a red-faced, breathless-looking version of Zeke. And you
That is 13.
Yep.
Armed CC.
Yep. Armed CC? I thought you were
Oh, no,
shooting him in the
small
face.
Sorry?
I thought you were trying to shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
Gun. Small gun.
Gun.
Yeah.
Small gun. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, it's still a 13.
Excellent. Fair enough. Give me some
Not
damage.
bad. Good question. That is...
That close, you're not going to miss on the 13.
That is... Damage is 2.
A 2.
Plus on the dice, and I can't remember, because it's very rare I shoot anything. Is it just the damage on the dice?
Dice plus the total of your small guns.
So that is 6.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. You raise your pistol. You lock eyes. Do you say something?
No, I just shoot him.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You lock eyes. Yeah. You see him. You see his left arm come back to lash you with a chain. Like he's like doing the wind up. Like the chain sort of tangles for a moment in Zeke's legs, and he looks back to see what's happening. And you fire your gun directly next to his head, next to his left ear. Because he just moved, you don't quite get a straight on shot. No, instead the bullet sort of hits him behind the ear and skids upwards, leaving he's a fucking horrible gash on the back of his head. His ear starts to flap forward a bit, and he lets out a growl and drops Zeke.
That's what she wanted. She's going to duck around the corner and say to Timi, I may have made things worse.
Excellent.
Timi is going to grab one of the pistols because clearly that worked last time. And now Zeke is free and she's less likely to shoot him with shitty small guns. She is going to aim for Much's knee so that he is incapacitated because those chains scare her.
Fair enough. So yeah, you also step around the corner and
12.
Yeah. I mean, you're standing barely 3 feet away. You know.
That is maybe one of them. And she is going to do... Woo! 12.
12. Holy crap. Okay. Okay. Woo, shit. Yeah. So you step around the corner, you pull out your crappy stolen gun, and you shoot Much in the knee. It does much what you expect. Yeah. A bullet tears into the guy's leg, it blows out the other side. You don't hit his kneecap. You hit the side of his knee, which arguably is actually worse. And once again, the bullet ricochets off at an odd angle and blows out the other side in an entirely different direction. And you actually have time to see it tumble out and hit the wall, spinning. It hits the wall, skids along the floor to the back of the step he's standing on. But yeah, his left knee buckles. You now essentially have a guy with a bleeding head wound, knee on one knee, with his hand on Zeke's shoulder.
As he goes down, Zeke will sort of duck from his grasp and grab one end of the chain. like the loose end,
Mm.
and much as Timmy was attempting to do earlier, sort of do a single coil around his neck, and
Okay, you could
sort of
try.
yeah. If I brace one foot against his back, he won't shift forward in theory. Like, he won't shift back when I yank.
Well, I think this will be a solid grapple. The chains are
Okay.
attached to his arms, and so he controls where they are. And they're
Okay.
bike chains, so they don't they only have flexibility in one direction.
That's not great. It's a 12.
It's not quite great enough. He gets a 13. Oh, for fuck's sake! I've got to stop rolling this d4. Yeah, he hits you for 7 damage. He pulls his arm free and just lashes you with the chain.
Okay. The question is, where does it hit?
I'd say the chest, because he's literally just lashing over his shoulder, and you're behind him trying to garrote him with his own weapon. So he's not going to have any great degree of control.
Okay. Still up.
Nice. Yeah. So he lashes at you, it hits your bag mainly. So I think you hear a very angry noise from your bag. Not pained, just angry. And fuck it, why not? I've got Jerry's stats here. Jerry is going to come out and do an unarmed attack on March. Yeah, he's going to come out and be angry. Jerry is no longer in your bag. He is now standing on Much's shoulders. But he rolled a 5 for his attack, so that's not happening. He's just clutching, desperately trying to stay on. Yes, here we are. Ooh, shit. We have a very, very hurt man with chains wrapped around his arms, trying to give as good as he gets. Yeah, so Much is gonna surge forward. He's gonna unwrap the second chain. He's just letting go of Zeke, obviously, because he got behind him. He's gonna pull the chains, and he's just gonna lash with both arms across his body, around the corner. So, let's see. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Boink. Yeah. Oh. So, yeah, he surges up, he lashes across body with both chains, at which point you just hear a horrible crunch. His left leg just bends violently in the wrong direction. And he collapses forward, kicking himself in the hip. His leg bends forward. God, what kind of damage dice do you roll for that? Yeah. Doesn't matter. He does 7 damage to himself. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead as lunch meat. He's dead. I gave him extra health so he would last a little longer, and he killed himself. Oh, god damn. Sorry, Much. I tried to make you last. Tried to make you important. You were going to be an executioner. I was going to kill Zeke with you. Yeah. This towering pillar of anger just falls in on itself and growls face down.
Please tell me Jerry just screamed at him and Jerry thinks it was him.
Yes. Jerry rides him down to the ground. Just climbs up on the back of his head and digs his claws in. And both heads start ripping at the top of its head. So Jerry is clearly deciding he's going to get some brain meat today. Yeah. Much is definitely unconscious and possibly dead. And Jerry is trying to eat head meat. But yes, you're acutely aware now that not only can you hear the sounds of a sort of consternation from the other side of the blast door across from you, but you can now also hear panicking people from upstairs.
Don't know how well you guys managed to get on with getting the salties out of here, but if upstairs is anything to go by, I reckon we should be back down that tunnel sometime soon.
What did you see up there?
A fair few of them, but blue-coated fellas. I'm not gonna lie, there were some that looked like real tough bastards.
But don't we have a job to do? Didn't Morgan tell us that we were going to die?
Just to get the salties out of here, if I remember right. And if you done managed to do that while I checked upstairs, I thinking maybe we should be back down that tunnel.
Shouldn't we be finding the kit or pen or one of those two things that I can definitely remember what it's called?
The pen?
Yes, the pen.
The pen.
I'm pretty sure we were told to find the pen.
Yeah.
That's the point. What's happened to our four friendly salties that were with us?
They last you saw them, they were escorting the freed people out.
They were off to beat people up.
Mm.
Yes.
Sort of joyful abandon on the corridor.
Yeah, plus you shot one of them.
Accidentally.
Did shoot one.
Yeah. Yes. You didn't really ingratiate yourselves with with Chewie, Jackson, Leroy, and Charlie. We
Really shot one of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
And we apologised.
Yeah. I don't recall Leroy taking the apology.
That's his problem, not ours.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You shot him at close range.
You shouldn't have got in the way of the shot.
Yeah, we can argue this one.
We don't have any friends. It's just us. We need to find the pen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think we're all going to die.
Don't suppose you've got any of them jars left, do you, Anita?
I might. Why? What are you going to do with them this time?
Well, as I can guess, there's only one way down here. Only one way I've seen, at least.
Are you suggesting, blowing people up as we go? Because I'm behind.
No, there's a stairway up there,
Uh-huh.
and it seems to be the only one to down here.
Okay.
You can hear increasing sounds of angry people coming from upstairs. You can hear the Weasley guy coming back like, Barry, they're down here.
Anita's going to pull one of the jars out and hand it over to Zeke. Just the one.
Unlike, very un-Timmy-like, Timmy is actually going to stand behind Anita and look a bit nervous.
I was just saying there are some shadows that, as you're standing here discussing your plan of action, you're aware in the moment of a shadow passing over the source of daylight coming from upstairs.
Is there any way that we could place this charge, such as to block in green shift and upstairs?
You're not sure one charge would do it.
Okay. How many
You-
more
you-
does Anita actually have on her?
I've got 4 in total. I'm not going to hand over all 4. It's not happening.
Zeke's going to give you a look and say, "Don't suppose you got like one more of these? I think I've got a plan." And sort of place, like rip a strip of this guy's jacket off that's on the ground, and form a crude wick, like not.
And more like brief flitting shadows cross the sunlight. As you look up, like it's conspicuously absent of anything to cause these shadows.
Anita sighs and hands over another bottle
Zeke will set
and
up.
starts backing away.
Zeke will set up sort of the same thing, and sort of produce 2 matches from somewhere. And we'll burn 2 legendary points to set one of these charges on the stairs and the other one in front of Green Shift's door, and leg it and let them go off to collapse the tunnel down here.
Your 2 legendary points will buy you one of those 2 things. You can do a thing flawlessly. Well, you can do a thing to minimum standard, basically.
Okay.
If Zeke lays one side, and I burn 2 legendary points, thank you, Corone, and get the other one to go off, would that work?
Yeah.
Zeke will hand one to Timi and sort of say, on my signal, set this off, and sort of set the one on the stairs and then leg it to
Okay.
a safe distance.
Death or glory?
You set a pair of charges at the bottom of the stairs. Yes?
I've already started to hurry down the tunnel.
The one that I gave to Timmy was to set sort of in front of Green Shift's door to block them in.
Okay. Fair enough. So yeah. I assume you've given Timmy a longer wick?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, yeah. You split up. Anita Anita pulls the Zeke. But yes, you split up. You set up the charges. Like you just quickly bung them down. I assume. As you're lighting them, Zeke, you look up and you can see 4 of the 5 Black Shift guys who were playing poker at the top of the stairs with weapons out, trained on you. So
I'm gonna place this and dodge out as fast as I can.
okay, this is so cool. Right, yeah, you place it. You've bought the explosives going off flawlessly. That's a given. But one of these Black Shift guys just crit on you. So, he just crit on you for 6 damage. To fuck it, let's say the leg.
Okay.
How you doing?
Funnily enough, as this shot sort of grazes my leg, you see Zeke go down.
Oh, damn.
Had that been my chest, I would have been fine. I'd have been on 1 hit point, but alive.
Yeah. Excellent. So yes, the charges are lit. So Timmy, you look up to see Zeke lighting his fuse. Give you the cue to light yours, and you do. Yeah, coordinated lighting. You've given it a little bit longer wick to give him some time to pass it, and you see him take one step and go down like a sack of bricks. Yeah, you see a splatter of blood as a bullet goes through basically the top of his ankle, and he goes down hard. What do you do?
It's already lit, yeah?
Yeah.
Already lit. We don't need
Anita
to.
won't have seen this, so she's... Yeah.
Right.
Anita's off down the
Timmy
stairs.
is going to make the detour of her life and try and drag Zeke
Where?
away down the corridor. She's just basically like grab him by whatever she can get, the scruff of that blue collar, and just drag him, whether he's leaving skin behind him on the floor or not.
Okay.
Better maimed than dead.
Yep. Okay. You grab Zeke. I have an idea for this. I want you to roll me a D8.
Okay.
D8 from Eivor. How long did you cut these fuses?
Oh God. 8.
4. Oh. Okay. Yep. So So Zeke's charge has a 4-second fuse. You've correspondingly cut yourself an 8-second fuse to give him 4 seconds to pass yours. Yeah. You know that you have less than 10 seconds. What do you try and do? You've grabbed Zeke. You're standing there. You can see Black Shift guards at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
You can also see a blast door behind you.
But if you go for the blast door, we can't get through the blast door though, can we?
Blast door isn't closed. This blast door is not closed.
Ah.
Zeke looked through it earlier.
Right. In which case, that's where we're going.
Yep.
It might not do us any good, but
Yep.
That's where we're going.
Okay. Okay. You drag him to the blast door. It's only about it's only a handful of feet away. In his sort of semi-conscious state, Zeke manages to sort of lean on you a bit. It's not quite a full drag, but he's definitely fading fast. You manage to flop yourself around the other side of this big steel slab, just in time for the BAM explosion. Literally, the moment you get the other side of the door, there's just like a plume of dust gets blasted past you. The door you're leaning on gets shunted like 2 feet, and it slams into the frame. You are now in the pen, on the walkway with all the guards.
Found it.
Yeah, the door sort of... The door looks entirely unharmed. It's quite warm to the touch as you're leaning against it, sort of panting, like, oh, for fuck. But yeah, you are now in the pen. There are 4 very worried-looking dudes with guns and one with a cabbage staring at you.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing on some stairs. Suddenly, the lights go out. Everything's black. It's massively dusty. There's a huge concussion. The airflow you could feel previously cuts off. You sit there choking and coughing in the darkness for a while. But aside from being sort of shunted to the bottom of the stairs and deafened, you're all right. But you are temporarily deaf.
Okay. I'm going to assume that the plan went to plan, and that the other two are coming. So I'm just going to run my hand along the corridor to make sure that I'm going in the right direction and keep going.
So yeah, you come to the intersection that goes back through the pump rooms.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going?
I'm heading towards Captain Morgan.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, you find that you pass it. You pass the next. Once you've passed that, you know to go to the other side. You feel for the next door on the left. You know that's not it. You go to the next one, and you find Chewie and Jackson and Leroy sort of sitting there with like a candle. Something they can easily they can quickly blow the fuck out if someone comes. You walk in there, you can smell candle smoke. Yeah. Clearly, you're not being as quiet as you thought you were because they light the candle. It occurs to you that you're not just like suffering from a close range concussion; you are deafened as you can't hear them.
She's just gonna look at them and go, I think the others got out. Stuff kind of happened.
Leroy looks at you. The look on Leroy's face clearly says that he's not entirely happy with the fact that you're the only one who's come out. If one of you had to come out, you're the one that he could have accepted. You were his acceptable loss, and you seem to have walked out unscathed, mainly. Chewie seems to be quite happy to see you. They're all clearly struggling with English, but Chewie is an older guy. He kind of gets the general vibe of things. He puts an arm around your shoulder. He takes off his jacket, gives it to you. He sits you down, gives you a drink because some serious shit has just occurred.
Anita is looking around down the corridor to see if she can see Zeke and Timi head down the corridor to her.
No one appears to be coming. For a little while, Jackson lights another little taper candle and goes around the corner. But after a few moments, he comes back. There doesn't appear to be anyone else following you. He says something that's probably to that effect, and the other two sort of nod gravely. But yeah, I'll leave you having a quiet drink of water with screw it. No, Chewie gives you a thermos. It's got something vaguely food-like in it. That's probably derived from some horrible thing that's pulled out the sea.
Anita's just going to eat it.
Yes.
While still staring hopefully down the corridor.
Yes. Okay. Right. Timi and Zeke standing on a walkway in a very large room. It's easily It's easily sort of 100 meters by 70, easily. On the I mentioned that it's 70. It was clearly once longer, and that end, the far end, has collapsed. So you're standing on a raised steel wall where there are stairs at the other end of it, or stairs at either end of it. There are 4 big, burly armed dudes, one of whom is throwing cabbage, or was sort of paused in the act of throwing cabbage. Like, huh? And there are lots and lots of Ooze towners and salties slaving away under the whips of bluecoats. The bluecoats down there don't seem generally to be armed, because you don't arm a slave rebellion. And obviously, Zeke, you don't see any of this.
What do the salties appear to be doing?
Most of them seem to be moving rocks and like pumping water out of a pit in the middle of the room. But your immediate concern is the 4 dudes closing on you.
Yeah. Timi is going to put Zeke gently on the floor, where he can kind of do his thing.
Do
and
his
just
thing, you mean bleed?
Yeah, bleed quietly on the floor. And Timi's going to put her arms up, and shout towards the guards. Your mates, there's been an accident. They need medics that way. Can one of you guys help? Do you know who to get? We were sent in here. We got out blast, but there's fire. I roll a manipulate.
Yeah, that's definitely a manipulate.
I was not sent here to kill you. Much. Oh shit! It's a 5.
That's all right. The guy who's trying to determine whether you're lying or not just rolled a 3. So basically, yeah, the guy throwing the cabbage, he motions everyone back. Whatever's just happened, no one's going near you right now. They stop a few paces away. He comes on over and sort of looks at you critically. Salty, yeah.
That's right.
Not one of these.
No, down there.
You knew.
Not long.
Out of the way. He just pushes you towards all the other people. They sort of catch you gently. Could be valuable. Take it down. And one of these big burly dudes, he puts his pistol away on his back, sort of holster on the back, holds you on the opposite side of his body because he's not an idiot, and he walks you away from Zeke down the stairs into the mass of people. As he takes you down, you recognise these people. I mean, naturally, you've been in Ooze Town for a little while, but some of them are salties you've sailed with. One of them is McEwen's boy. You know this guy. He was. What was he? Shit. It takes you a few moments to sort of put it in place. He was the new cabin boy on the Beer and Beaches. He was part of your crew before you got put ashore. But they went missing outside of town.
So they've ended up here.
Yeah. They were specialists. They were researchers.
Mm.
And here's one of them, operating a pump. Like a hand pump. Which he now can't get any goddamn pressure in. Thanks.
Oops.
There's nothing, there's nothing taking it further away. He's just... But yeah, that's McEwen's kid. He hasn't earned a proper name yet.
Are we close enough to talk to them?
No, you're being sort of moved through a crowd. There's a fair old crowd of people here. Mainly sort of dismantling the wall of fallen stones on the other side of the room. Yeah, you're being sort of escorted through. Zeke, give me an endurance save, endurance physical. You lay there, crumpled in a heap. Oh, nice. Yeah. Your head's sort of swimming. Your eyes sort of creak open a little. You're aware of what's happening now. You're pretty sure you can't move. There's a lot of pain. But you can see here. And there's a big blue coat standing over you. He's sort of... What stirred you might be the fact that he's poking your wound with a stick. But he's definitely got like a medical pack in hand. Because why let someone die when they could be useful? But he seems to be sort of trying to decide whether it's worth using it on you. We can't hear you, sir.
What Zeke sort of does is goes, what was that?
Oh, I can't help but feel that it's typical of this group that the first words out of your mouth after you nearly die are a lie. You slowly return to conscious to find a stranger poking a painful and disabling wound, and you go, "I'm completely innocent." Oh. What was that? Oh.
Well, to Zeke it makes sense because he wasn't expecting to be shot by the Black Shift.
True. I suppose.
And was hoping to be speaking with Captain Morgan by now.
Yeah.
So in Zeke's mind, it is a valid question, without being a lie.
Yeah. Okay. Right, well, this fella, he seeing that you're sort of awake, he grabs you by the jaw in that way that big bad villains do in action movies when they want to ask you questions and they haven't thought about the fact that it makes it hard to speak. And he pulls you up to a sitting position against the door. And you speak. Are you useful? Can I have use of you? Ooh. In the pit.
Makes it worse.
It does. What do you know about... What do you know about that? And he just sort of gestures at the door. Tell me true, boy.
Zeke looks up and goes, I'm a trapper and hunter from out of town. I'm used to a bit of hard work.
Well, you look a bit hardier than this lot. He turns and looks over his shoulder. He's like, "You, Yeah, you. Come on, Carson. Yeah. One of the guards comes over, and he's like, strap him up and get him down there. He's, says he's from out. Says he's a hunter. Says he's tough. Getting patched up and working. And this guy Carson, he comes along and no two ways of putting it. He stabs you. He stabs you with something cold. And all that nasty pain and nausea and sort of fuzziness in the head, it just drifts away. Everything feels nice. Yeah, kind of good and floaty like. And as Carson sees your eyes sort of clear a bit, he reaches into another pocket and he pulls out like a little grey stick, and he just jams it in your mouth, like force stop. He's like, chew. Do you chew?
Yeah, I'll sort of. I think Zeke is still sort of more coming round from being severely concussed in that blast and still sort of a bit out of it, so we'll follow orders to a point.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You chew and you start to feel a little better. Like, you start to feel like you could probably actually move under your own power. You feel incredibly battered, but sort of a distance from your body. In that way that someone who's very drunk and has to walk a long distance does. You know that your legs hurt, but it seems to be someone else's problem. While you're sort of sitting there enjoying this feeling, he straps up your leg, which otherwise would probably hurt quite a lot, and especially because the assemblage that was already on your leg has now been busted. Rips off all that toss and basically straps his hitting stick to the side of your leg. Binds it up with tape. God knows where he got tape, but hey, it's tape of some kind. So there you are. You can stand again, and you're taken down into the pen as well. You get led through, and you see faces that you remember from the market, and some faces that you remember from bungos, and even a few that you remember from butts. There's a lot of Ooze towners around here. I mean, you don't recognise any of the salties, but you get dragged down, closer and closer to the water, and as the crowd sort of breaks, you're standing by the side of the pen. Suddenly, the ground cuts away and sinks. You can, under like a thin film of water, you can now see there's a literal pit. And sticking out of this pit, you and Timi can both see sort of a dark cylinder of metal. It sticks up at an awkward angle out of the water, almost like the rocks have collapsed on the other end and forced it up. It's sort of rounded with a flat top, and you can see cut into this cylinder there are slots in the front. And there is quite clearly a hole that's been bored into it at some point, and there's a walkway across to it that is now under the water as the water level continues to rise. Like, that's where you're going. In there. And with that, we shall end tonight. So there we are. You are very, very close now to discovering what the hell is rotten under Ooze Town. If you could recognise this object, or we had more time for you to go inside. But hey, turns out this finale was penultimate. So there we are. What is the cylinder? Where are you going? Why do they want tough people and salties? All these mysteries are to be revealed next time, hopefully. Unless we all just die or something. So there we are. Right. I have, for this occasion, actually written an outro script. So I'll attempt to read it because I've put it too far away. But yeah. There we are. I was thirsty. I was the world and all of its petty irritations. And large explosions and horribly unfair things and complete absence of time to sit back and heal. You can find me on Twitter, thirsty_BTP. You can find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk, where we're just sort of trying to start updating things again. You can catch this video and others much like it on YouTube, on our channel, Bloodthirsty Puppets. If you're watching this on YouTube, which you're not, but you will be if you might, later, whatever. Watch this on YouTube, Bloodthirsty Puppets. So yeah, I had a lot of fun making that up. I actually have a more written that we haven't got to yet again. Because Christ knows how I was going to contrive you all getting back together before, you volunteered to be a prisoner and let them lead you around without tying you up or coercing you. Bizarre. So there we are. You've managed to collapse more of a hill and kill more people without even seeing their faces. So there. Yeah. So, players, outros, where can we find you? Let's start with Eivor.
I've been Eivor playing Zeke. That was good fun. Zeke really needs to get out of the habit of being unconscious.
Yeah, it's not very constructive.
No, it's possibly not too good for the old grey cells as well. You can find me on Twitter at Eivor_DNABC here on Monday nights for the time being, and otherwise in the nebulous north.
Right. Well, we shall. Well, let's just move in standard order. Lilth, where can we find you? What are you up to? You said things on Twitter that sounded very interesting and cool, so you should say them here as well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Lilth. You can find me on Twitter at Lilth21. You can find me here on a Monday. You can find me on Kit Battlebeard's channel on a Saturday. Although we've just wrapped up that section, so one shots for a bit, I believe. And then you can also find me at Gen Con, where I'll be running 4 games of Masks because I'm stupid enough to volunteer. So yeah, great, come see me. And
Yes.
point and laugh at the Brit who's trying to run games in America.
Don't worry about it. You'll have all of the weight of imperial authority behind your voice.
Absolutely.
They'll all know to submit to the authority of evil English people.
Yeah, maybe.
You get to voice the bad guys. They'll feel at home.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, maybe.
You don't sound like you're panicking at all.
Not at all.
No, it's totally cool. It's absolutely fine.
It'll be fine. I'm not gonna crash and burn, and
No, don't worry. Con games are easy. It's home games where you know the people who you might embarrass yourself in front of. There you are. Right, and by no means least, one of my many creative partners, the wonderful Spanners.
Ooh, that was really fun. Not quite the bloody torture I was hoping for, but did get to stab someone. Helped Zeke blow up unknown others and didn't die. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter consistently at spanners_BTP. You can find me at bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk and here on a Monday, possibly forever, because we will never finish this campaign. Yes, you can also find me on Dark Dice, which is out. There's a new episode on everywhere. iTunes, Podbean. Go find us on Podbean. It's pretty good. And more exciting stuff coming soon.
Intriguing. So yeah, there we are. Oh, well, now we've all said goodbye, and well, that's the end of our time tonight. So, time at the bar, folks. Drink up. Cheerio. Really is good beer.
It is.
My God, I thought I was never going to get to describe that fucking thing in the pen.
What should we do? Let's blow ourselves up.
Yeah. Let's set off a large explosive in a concealed area, confined area.
Yeah,
Well, I need to try to stop it.
Yeah, I'm hand waving you all not being like deaf and pulverized on the basis that the explosion travelled up the stairs. It vented the other way. You did kill about like 15
That's
people
where
with that
the air
explosion.
is.
Yeah, well, that was the idea. Because
You might have
it was them
collapsed.
or us.
You might have collapsed the canteen. Oh, it's awful. Where's Barry going to have his lunch? Oh.
At least they aren't looking for Kurt's replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, we've left the angry shouty man for last.
Yeah, I suppose, requiring, of course, that the whole hill doesn't fall in at this point.
Yeah.
You blew half of it off, and then you set off an explosion in the tunnels underneath it. So, yeah.
A minor explosion.
Minor explosion. Bloody... Okay. So, minor explosion. Yeah, an explosion that's basically in a mine. Never been known to make things collapse or fuck up things on the surface. Oh, God. And you killed the gate guards. But hey. Oh.
Well, if there is another way out, at least the gates will be unguarded.
You realise Anita's going to assume you're all dead, don't you?
Yes. Tune in next time for the adventures of Anita.
Anita, who's gone home for a bloody beer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Anita, who will come back as a returning NPC, just as a landlord. As a landlord who runs a skeevy pub where you can buy drugs.
Yeah, that sounds ideal for Anita.
It does.
She's
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. To be fair, it fits pretty well in the setting. But hey, yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging on and playing with me, playing again.
Thank
Because, it's been, 28 times now. So, we should all know that we're not getting anywhere. So, yeah.
We're nearly there.
Yeah. But you kind of hope not. Anyway. There we are. Pow.